In this lesson, we'll take a look at the visible property on our worksheet object. The visible property allows us to hide or unhide a worksheet. Now, it includes all of the standard functionality that we have in our regular Excel interface. For example, if I hover my mouse over any one of these sheets and I right-click, we have our familiar hide and unhide options. And if you've never used these before, all they do is hide a worksheet. So it doesn't permanently delete it, it just hides it in this kind of temporary box. And then if you right-click here and say unhide, you can find the worksheet that you just hid or any number of them and then unhide them again and they'll pop back up into view. Now we have all this functionality available in VBA and we also have a more powerful option which allows us to hide a worksheet and only permit it to be visible again if another piece of VBA code allows it to be unhidden. In other words, we can hide it but prohibit the user in our actual Excel interface from unhiding it. So let's take a look here in my Visual Basic Editor. I'll define a procedure and I'll call it hide some sheets. All right, so let's take a look at a couple of the different ways that we can set the visible property. It's actually a pretty powerful, flexible property, and it accepts a wide variety of inputs. So let's target a worksheet. Let's say worksheet number 2, which is going to be sheet 2 in my list. And we're going to access the visible property, and it can be overwritten. And one of the first things that we can give it is actually a Boolean argument, either true or false. If we make this false, what it's going to do predictably is make the sheet invisible or not visible, which means it's going to be hidden. So when I execute this macro, we're going to see sheet 2 disappear from view in my bottom left corner of the Excel interface. So let me go ahead and press F5, and now we can see sheet 2 is completely absent. We can change this back to true. The worksheet, again, is not permanently deleted. It's just hidden. It's just kind of hiding there behind the scenes. If we want to bring it back here, we can simply set this to true, execute again, and now sheet 2 has appeared once again in my worksheet. But we're not strictly limited to a Boolean argument. We can actually provide the visible property a bunch of enumerations. As a reminder, enumeration is just a combination of different constants that we can use to represent different numeric things behind the scenes. So let's take a look at that. So what I'm going to do here is actually reference each one of my worksheets, and I'm going to assign each one of their visible properties a different value for the enumeration. The first one that we have available to us, if I show my IntelliSense by pressing Control plus Spacebar, is Excel sheet visible. And this is the exact same thing as setting it equal to an argument of true. This makes it visible or guaranteed to be present in our actual workbook. So this would not change anything because all of our 3 sheets are currently visible. All right. Now our second option is the corresponding one, which is equivalent to false, and that's going to be Excel sheet hidden. What this is going to do is hide the worksheet. So this is the exact same thing as giving an argument of false. So you might be thinking, what's the point of these enumerations? We've covered all of our bases with true or false. Well, it turns out there's actually a third option available to us, a third enumeration, a third constant, that's an even more severe or strict form of hiding. And it's going to be this one. So let's do worksheets 3. And I'm going to set the visible property to Excel sheet very hidden. So this is kind of a funny name. It's very hidden. What does that mean? This is actually an option that's not available to us in the Excel interface. What this means is that the sheet will be hidden and the user will not be able to unhide it from the Excel interface, which means the only way that they can unhide it is by running some kind of macro that will reveal it again. In other words, this is basically VBA exclusive, which means we hide the sheet and there's no way without running additional VBA code that the user can ever access it again. In comparison, this hidden one will hide it using VBA, but the user can still unhide it using their traditional clicking syntax in the Excel interface. So let's take a look. What we expect to happen here is that nothing will happen with sheet 1. Both sheet 2 and sheet 3 will disappear, but we're only going to be able to get sheet 2 back. So let's go ahead and execute F5. All right, so sheet 1 is gone, and if I right-click here and go to unhide, you'll notice this list will only show me sheet 2. That's because I used the enumeration Excel sheet hidden. That means the sheet has been hidden, but the user can still bring it back. They can press OK. But notice sheet number 3, which we set to very hidden, is not present here. There is no way the user can get it back unless they run some other additional macro that then sets worksheet 3 to a visible property of either true or Excel sheet visible. So that's the whole point. If you truly want to hide something from the user, later, but not permanently delete it. That's a really good way that you can utilize Excel sheet very hidden. So I'm going to go ahead and press cancel just so that we leave things in the original state. And that's all there's to cover in this lesson. We talked about the visible property on a singular worksheet object. We can give it a wide variety of data types or values. The first is a bunch of Booleans, true or false. True is going to make it visible or present in our Excel interface. False will hide it or make it invisible. We also can provide it a wide variety of enumerations, either Excel sheet visible, Excel sheet hidden, or Excel sheet very hidden. That's all there is to cover in this lesson, so I'll see you in the next one.